guys, I'm the one MFP. Today I'm going to be talking about Magnus Nygren. Now the reason I'm talking about Magnus Nygren is because he's made headlines because of things he's said, because of things that's happened, whatever. Essentially, he asked that he be traded if he does not make the main roster, and as you may or may not know, he's been cut from the main camp and sent down to the Hamilton development camp. So I guess it'll be interesting to see if he gets traded or not, if the rumors are true. First of all, let's establish why we should care. He's a very talented right-handed offensive defenseman, which is something that's not always easy to come by. He wants to play in the NHL. That's partially the reason why he asked for the trade if he doesn't make the main roster. He knows he has to play in North America to, get used to the North American game, and he doesn't want to do that in Hamilton. We'll get more into that a little bit later. But yeah, getting back to his skills, I think for sure he'll be a top 4 defenseman in the league within the next year or two. He's got the talent to do that. His defensive skills are still lacking a little bit, but it's improving. The areas he really needs to work on is his net coverage, and he has to also work on not following the puck so much, but rather, stay true to his position. That's kind of the things he has to work on. So his defensive skills do need some work, but offensively, this guy is really dangerous. He has a howitzer of a shot. I think there were reports that he shoots 104 miles per hour, something like that. That's a crazy powerful shot. In Sweden, he put up great numbers. Last season, he played 16 games in Hamilton before getting injured. I think he put up 7 or 8 points in 16 games. It wasn't anything too special, but obviously he's a Swedish guy coming into, the North American market. It's a different style of play. He's not really used to it. He knows he needs to play in North America to get used to the North American game. Moreover, Terrier said there's no chances Magnus Nygren is going back to Europe this upcoming season. I don't know how he knows that. I don't know if they had a talk with him or whatever. But anyways, we should care because he's got amazing offensive talent. He's right-handed, which means he could fit into the lineup in the next year or two, take Weaver Gilbert's spot. He's got a crazy hard shot. He's fast. He's very mobile. I don't know if you saw him in the preseason, but in the first game against Boston, I think he had 2 assists. You didn't even know it. It's like he goes under the radar sometimes, but he's really good. We need to keep him here. We don't want him to be traded and end up in another organization like a certain Ryan McDonough. We want to keep this guy in our organization, and we also want to keep him in North America. Now the problem, he supposedly asked for a trade if he didn't make the main roster, and he didn't make the main roster apparently. But he's reported to Hamilton, which is good news, I guess. But that's where the gossip comes in. There's this CBC article that came out that said that he told a Swedish reporter all kinds of nasty things about Hamilton, about how dangerous it is there, how he fears for his life over there, how it's one of the most criminal cities in Canada, and that he criticized the team, blah blah blah. Now, just to get into this very briefly, what you have to understand is that there's a lot of room for error here. There's a big margin of error. First of all, this article, the Swedish article, is written. We don't know what Nygren actually said. What he said could have been taken way out of context by the reporter, and it could technically be slander. We don't know that. The second place where an error could be committed is the fact that it's translated to English. Then the third place is the interpretation by the CBC reporter. Those are 3 things to consider. And then, in addition, reporters, any type of media, their goal isn't necessarily just to inform you. They need to get people to respond, not just to have something to read and be informed about. They need to get people to respond. That's how they get people talking about their articles and how they get people coming back to their articles. That's how the media plays its game. So you really have to consider that when you think about the Magnus Nygren situation, especially considering the fact that he denies he talked about Hamilton the way he did. His response to the CBC reporter was actually something that I tweeted him. You could have favorited my tweet, Magnus, if you were going to use the same argument. But anyways, getting back into it. Yeah, he basically said that people use Google Translate You know what? I'm gonna put the tweet right here. Basically, what he said is that people use Google Translate, and then his text becomes another version of the text, and it's not actually what he said. You know what? I'm kind of inclined to believe him, but I think Bergevin is gonna have to have a talk with him so that he doesn't get himself in so much trouble over Twitter. Because this, mistranslation thing or whatever happens, like, that's going to happen as long as he tweets anything that can be misinterpreted. So you might want to, like, stay away from the hockey-related tweets or what have you. But yeah, we don't know what he actually said. What we do know is he has a lot of potential. Hopefully he gets his shot. I think, management has to have a talk with him, tell him what is expected of him. He only had a short stint in Hamilton, so ideally he spends, the next half the season, maybe the next whole season in Hamilton. He proves himself in the North American market, and then he could come up next season or, in the middle of the season, whatever it is. He could come up if there's an injury with the right-sided defenseman. We don't know. As long as there's talk with him, just sit him down, tell him what's what. He performed better than, I think, all right-side defensemen in the camp. Drewiski, Patterin, they played really well, but so did Nygren, and he didn't get his shot in his type of environment, to be honest. He plays the power play. That's his specialty. And he didn't get played there. So, I don't know what the plans are for him, but I just hope that we find a way to keep him in the Montreal Canadiens organization, because if we don't, we're going to regret it, I think. He's going to be a good player wherever he goes. And anyways, that does it for this video, guys. Until next time, take it easy.